Hampton. Thanks so much for joining me today. We'll be reading chapters 33 through 36 from our One District, One Book, Save Me a Seat. Chapter 33, Ravi. Dylan Samreen is standing in the door when I arrive at room 506. I ignore him and his crooked Sakti Kapoor teeth and take my seat. Place your personal reflection object on your desk and bring your explanation cards up here and put them in the basket, Mrs. Beam tells us. Before I can unwrap my packet, I first need to wipe off my glasses, which have become clouded up from the weather. Amma gets upset with me if I use anything other than the special wiping cloth Dr. Batra gave me to clean my glasses, so I open my backpack, pull out the cloth. Just as I'm about to remove my glasses, Dylan Samreen reaches around me and snatches something off Bigfoot's desk. He pops into his mouth and quickly sits back down, but not before I've seen what he has taken. Chapter 34, Joe. It's my own fault. I should have known better than to leave anything on my desk when there's a known kleptomaniac sitting 2 feet away. So much for impressing Mrs. Beam with my great idea. All I have left is an empty dish, which is exactly what I feel like at the moment. Ravi has left his package sitting unopened on his desk while he takes his card up and puts it on the basket. Lucky for him, Dylan is too busy unpacking his own box to notice. Mrs. Beam starts talking to Ravi about Indian cookies his mom made him for her, but I get distracted when I see what Dylan Samreen has brought. It's a big plastic yellow star with a picture of what else? Dylan's face glued to the center. Perfect. I watch as he rips open a packet of AA batteries and loads a bunch of them into the back of the star. When he's finished, he gets up on his desk, pushes the on button, and the whole thing lights up and starts playing Ghetto Superstar. Lucy Mulligan and her little girlfriends come running over. Pretty soon they're all dancing around Dylan while he sings along with the music. Ghetto Superstar, that is what you are, coming from afar, reaching for the stars. The singing is bad, but the girls don't care. I notice his boxes are decorated with yellow stars, and the top 3 buttons of his shirt are undone. Gross. I'm not sure, but I think he might have glitter on his chest. Take your seats, please, boys and girls, and we'll get started, Mrs. Beam tells us. I am in big, big trouble. Chapter 35, Ravi. Ravi, Mrs. Beam says as I drop my card into the basket. My heart is pounding. Have I done something wrong? Amma has offered to write my explanation on the card in her neat handwriting, but I insisted on doing it myself. Can Mrs. Beam not have read what I've written? After talking with Paripa last night, I had been so sure the assignment would be a proud moment, not just for me, but for my whole family. Now my other failures have come flooding back like a giant wave. My accent, my math, my English, my manners. It's nice to see you, says Mrs. Beam. We missed you yesterday. You did? I ask. Don't sound so surprised, she laughs. I wanted to tell you how much I enjoyed the cookies your mother made. There's a spice that I'm not familiar with. Do you know what it is? I'm sorry, I say softly, bending my head down. It's cumin. Don't apologize, she says. The cookies were delicious. It was all I could do from keep myself from eating the entire box. I was wondering, do you think your mother would be willing to share the recipe for the, what are they called again? Naan-khattais, I say. Naan-khattais, she says slowly. Her pronunciation is perfect. I think what Miss Frost has told me about stepping on toes and about how assumptions are often wrong. Mrs. Beam, I say softly, my voice quivering a little. My name is not Ravi. It's pronounced Ravi. She looks at me and smiles. I never noticed before, but her eyes are the color of pistachios. I'm glad you told me, Ravi. Was that better? She asks. I nod my head and smile back at her. It means the sun, I say. As I walk back to my seat, my heart feels lighter. It seems things are finally looking up for me in America. But my gratitude was interrupted when I see Bigfoot sitting at his desk, staring into the empty bowl in front of him. He looks so sad, and I'm not selfish enough to have forgotten about the insulting cartoon or what I saw Dylan Samring take from the little glass dish on Bigfoot's desk. This is my chance to redeem myself for the unkind way that I treated Ramaswamy or Vindhya Mandir and all those toes I stepped on in Albert Einstein Elementary as well. My chance to set things right. I reach into my desk and feel around with my fingers until I find what I'm looking for. Then I put it in my pencil box for safekeeping until the moment is right. Chapter 36, Joe. We're going to play a little guessing game, Mrs. Beam explains. The goal is to match up the objects sitting on the desks with the sentences in the basket. Great. I've only been at school for 15 minutes and my day is already in the toilet. I look at the empty dish. No one is going to be able to match it with the sentence I wrote, not in a million years. Ravi is busy unwrapping his package. I'm curious to see what's inside, so I lean to my left so I can watch him. The brown paper is held on with about 1 million pieces of Scotch tape. When he finally gets it off, there's another layer of newspaper underneath. And under that, a layer of tin foil and a lot more Scotch tape. Before we start, Mrs. Beam tells us, I'd like you to all quietly make your way around the room. Familiarize yourself with the objects on each of the desks. I'll give you a few minutes to do that, and then we'll begin our game. Miss Frost always says that the best place to start is at the beginning. So I go over to the first desk in the first row. Amy Yamaguchi brought a teddy bear, or at least I think that's what it is. It's a little hard to tell because it's gray and it doesn't have any stuffing left in it. Not only that, but the face is completely worn off. Whatever it is, it's ancient and probably doesn't smell too good up close. Some of the other girls brought in stuffed animals too, or girly junk like charm bracelets and flavored chapstick. A lot of boys picked video games or sports stuff, including Tim O'Toole, whose personal reflection object is his own front tooth. Everybody knows the story. He knocked out his tooth last winter sliding into a goalpost during a hockey game. Even though there was blood gushing out of his mouth, he still managed to score the winning goal, which is how his picture ended up on the front of the Hamilton Herald with a caption under it that said, "Plucky local kid just won't quit." I'm about to start walking down the next row of desks when I hear Lucy Mulligan scream. Mrs. Beam goes running over to see what's wrong, and pretty soon there's a big crowd of kids standing around Ravi's desk. This is one of those times when being taller than everybody else comes in handy, because I can see right over their heads. Ravi has finally finished unwrapping his package. Sitting on the desk is a glass jar filled with a cruddy-looking water. And swimming around in that cruddy-looking water are 3 long, slimy, black... We'll have to wait to see what happens. Thanks so much for reading with me today. I can't wait to see what happens next with Ravi and Joe.